Meghan Markle's an actress. Harry has been media trained his entire life. From a body language perspective, does that make them harder to read?
She's going to be better at doing that than he will be, just because she's trained to show emotion and he is trained specifically not to show emotion. I don't think over such a long period of time you could fake the emotion to the level and the timing and the precision that she did. So I'm giving both of them a score of 100% on truth.
Wow.
You can't get any better than that.
Even when she said she never Googled Harry when they first started dating, because we were like, that's got to be a lie.
That must have been a lie, right?
Oh, and you know what? I didn't pick it up. If she did it, she should be making a lot more money than she's making on TV. I'll tell you that.
Wow, that's incredible. They were holding hands quite a bit. I'm guessing they were supporting and relying on each other throughout that interview.
If you looked at their hand holding, a lot of times it was fingers interlaced. That's a deeply intimate way to hold hands. So I think that they are really tight and addressing this with a unified front.
And speaking of the hands thing, I noticed Harry kept playing with his wedding ring quite a bit. Does that mean anything?
When people fiddle with their wedding rings like that, there can be nervousness about the relationship. That's what the whole interview was about. So I think it was on par with what we'd want to see from someone in this kind of situation. Again, it shows that he's not as trained to hold back body language and that kind of information as maybe he thinks he is.
I did notice, like, when she'd say something quite shocking and then Oprah would go, wait, so what you're saying is, and get her to almost like reconfirm it, Meghan would look down as she would give the answer and then sort of look back up. And I was like, I thought that was a bit of a shady thing, or that sort of suggests that someone might be lying, but no?
Not necessarily. So you want to compare people to themselves. Meghan was trying to, at certain points, say the minimum that she could say to get her point across.
Right.
And Oprah would just come short of putting words in her mouth. And what that was doing was stirring up a lot of negativity, a lot of negative emotions. That's what the whole interview was about, right? And when people get into negative emotions, they will look down.
Did you get a read on Harry? Like, did Harry seem sad or angry, especially when talking about him and his dad and how they don't speak anymore?
He went back and forth between sad and anger quite consistently. And so I think there's a ton of anger there. And I also think there's a lot of loss, and that's where sadness comes from, is loss. Like, so anger comes from when boundaries are crossed, and sadness comes from loss. So I think we saw a lot of that. And, you know, no one's going to have just one emotion in any kind of discussion, right? And both of them ran through just about every emotion that you can have, because they talked about the baby and the happiness and the excitement of that. And then it got to harder questions about family and loss and mental illness and being betrayed, like all of these things. So we saw all of that from them.
So you would say, based on like what you've seen, she's not just chasing the fame card and trying to be in the spotlight. It was more like I need to get my side of the story out on this.
They wanted to set the record straight. And again, here's what we got to consider, is that truthful people do and say the minimum that they need to say in order to get their point across. We have had, Harry went on James Corden here in the States with, last week, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And then they did Oprah, and that's all we've heard from them in an interview about this situation since it's been going on. And so I think that speaks volumes as well about the truthfulness of the situation.
Wow, thank you so much, Traci Brown. 100% real, according to you.
Yep, that's what I'm going with.
Love it.
Well, you're the body language expert.
No room for error. Hey, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's always so insightful.